3, 2, 1. Hello everyone, welcome to Tactica, Imperialis and to today's video. Today is episode 112 of Adeptus Podcastus, the last episode of 2020. Joining me as always is Remleiz from 40k Theories.
I've been up for 39 hours.
What?
You're an idiot. Yeah, so there's been episodes where Rem makes up for me being tired. This is me making up for Rem being tired. And our special guest this episode, joining us from If the Emperor Had a Text to Speech Device, alongside many other projects. Ladies, gentlemen, Xenos of all ages, I give you Alfabusa.
Yes, hello. I'm sorry, 39 hours. Was that it?
Yes, I've been up since 3 a.m. yesterday.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay, I'm not gonna, shame you because I get that, not being able to sleep is, a genuine issue. So,
Yeah.
but still, that's horrible. I'm sorry.
Yeah, pretty much we're going to hit stop at the end of this recording and Rem's going to bed.
We're going to hit stop and I'm going to black out and probably knock a whole bunch of things over in the process.
Yeah, I hope that works out for you. I hope you
But yes.
perish in the process.
But yes, welcome to the show. It's good to have you back, Alpha. It's nearly half a year since episode 100, the last time you were here.
Yeah, really? Wait, a year?
Half
Really?
a year.
24 weeks.
Hold on.
Half a year.
Yeah, the last time I was with you was in the special thing.
Yep. 12 episodes, 2 weeks an episode, 24 weeks.
24 weeks. Wait, hold on.
52 in a year.
A year, really?
Half a
Almost
year.
half a year.
Half a year.
What? Wow, that's... Oh, half a year. God,
Yeah.
oh, I'm sorry. I got completely confused there. Someone tried to call me just now. I got completely sidetracked.
That's
Okay,
all
but
good. It's all good.
Okay, so that's not as long ago as I... Okay, never mind. Yeah, I was with you, alone, like this, more than a year ago, right?
Yeah, the last time I remember doing a sit down with you was episode 70, but I know there's been one since then. I'm sure we've had one since episode 70.
Oh, really?
That was one in the 90s, but I can't remember.
Oh.
Top of my head.
Last standard episode we had Alpha on was episode... Scroll down. Why do I... Was it really all the way back in... No, it couldn't have been all the way back in episode 70, couldn't it?
Episode 70 was when I was in France, and I feel like there's been one since then.
I recognize that, though.
It was episode 70, yeah.
That I asked you.
Wait, it was
about
42
France.
episodes ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, neat. That's a good space of time.
Yeah, because we had Thunder on at least 2 or 3 times since then as well.
It's because Thunder is much more likable. I mean,
Nothing
to
to
be
do with
fair,
likable.
you can't top Thunder. No, wait, that was Dr. White. That was when you brought Dr. White on, right? When Thunder came in with a sword.
Yeah, that was,
If I remember this correctly. Listen to that podcast instead. The one with Dr. White.
And they live in the
Yes,
same house now,
Thunder
anyway.
comes in with a sword.
They did for a while. I don't know if they still do, but they certainly have lived together for a while.
Yeah, didn't Thunder or Dr. White come in when Thunder was recording as well?
Oh, them two gate crashing each other was just part of the course.
And that's why you bring them on all the time. It's like having 2 guests in one. Guaranteed.
Yes. And then Dr. White just drinks some blue food coloring and tells people that I told him to, even though I never told him to do it. He did it purely of his own volition.
No, can't let it go.
No, I'm not going to let it go. It was his dumb idea. He should live with
it. Talking about today.
Well, in the news this week, there's not all that much because we talked about the Black Library Online preview on the last episode because we recorded it late. So a lot of those books that were previewed there, we've already sort of discussed. Probably for...
I've already forgotten.
The books in question, just to remind you, there was Mortis from the Siege of Terror series. There was the third Dark Imperium book. There was the new Uriel Ventress book. There was the new Beckwin book. There was the Book of Martyrs Sister Battle book, the Alfarius Primarch novel, the Gate of Bones Dawn of Fire novel, Liber Xenologis, Git Slayer, Gazgul Thraka Prophets of the War, The End of Enlightenment, the Book of Martyrs I already mentioned, and that's it.
Okay, I have already forgotten the ones at the beginning of this.
Suffice to say, there was a lot.
Thank you anyway. You did a good job. But, like, there was also... or wait, has that happened more recently? No, never mind. I was going to mention the, like, Slanesh models for Age of Sigmar.
Oh, that happens to happen more recently.
Oh, okay. So that is...
So there was...
I assume?
Yeah, so Diachasm is out, and the Shard Speaker of Slanesh was revealed last episode, or before last episode. But this time round, they've revealed snippets of a bunch more Slanesh models. So these are different fighter cards for Warcry for the moment, for Head Knights of Slanesh. The Bliss Barb Archers, the Bliss Barb Seekers, who are like, I think, archers and on cavalry. The Slick Blade Seekers, which are mounted cavalry, and Slangor Fiend Bloods,
I want that.
the Slaneshi Beastmen.
I want those. Has pictures of them been released yet, actually?
There is one Slangor model already out.
Oh, yeah.
But you have to buy the Underworlds box.
Yeah,
in terms of full reveals, not yet.
I was on the brink of purchasing that just because I thought it would fit really neatly with my current modeling project, but I didn't because buying a single model, or buying an entire box for a single model is something I have a bad tendency of doing.
There's always
I
eBay.
shouldn't do it too much. That is true. Actually, I might be able to find it on eBay.
Yeah. Well, I've bought Diachasm, the box itself. Now, I'm not particularly fussed for the Dread Pageant, though there is a part of me that does want to just collect a Head Knights of Slanesh Mortal Army at this point, because the models with Sigvalve and all that other stuff are amazing. But if you really want the Slangor, I don't mind sending the Slangor your way.
Oh, really? Oh, that would be super nice of you.
Yeah, because if I was going to buy a Head of Knights army, it would be entirely humans with Sigvald. It wouldn't have any demons and it wouldn't have any Slangor. So I'd be okay offloading the Slangor in your direction at some point if that interested you.
Please, if you can do that, I will be eternally grateful. I hope you
No
don't
problem.
mind me.
We'll sort that out after the episode then.
Nice. I hope you don't mind me like snipping it up a bit though. But not.
Oh God, it'll be yours at that point, so I don't care. At that point, it's all yours.
It's going to be for your Gene Stealer Cole.
Yep, that is accurate. It would fit so well because it's already so gangly and weird, just like a Tyranid. So it will fit perfectly. It'll be so easy to convert.
Nice.
Into like an acolyte or something. I don't know.
Though, jumping back to books, we got to look at, it will already have sold out by the time this episode comes out, but the mega box for the Yarnhammer Pack Hellwinter Gate special box, that's got the box treatment for that novel, and they showed it off earlier this week. So the novel's got its leather effect cover with almost looks like fabric stitching, and some nice quotes on the front. Comes with dice, a runestone coaster. So if you like the runestone that sits at the heart of the Fang, you can now have it as a coaster. You've got a data sheet for playing with the Yarnhammer Pack in game. You've got a Space Wolf bookmark, a Space Wolves pin badge, some dice that I mentioned, and a second book called Hrani's Saga. I probably absolutely butchered the pronunciation of Hrani in whichever version of Scandinavian the Space Wolf language most vaguely represents.
It probably would have wanted you to butcher it anyway.
Possibly. And it's like a Fenrisian saga style, illustrated throughout with arts that resemble woodcuts annotated by an Imperial archivist that sort of adds some facts to the saga as well. But it's 1,500 copies, so it'll be gone by now.
I ordered mine.
Of course you did.
Nope. I'm just waiting for the next Primarch book, and I hope that won't be sold out immediately.
It's Alfarius, so it'll go quick.
I remember back in the day when it was easy to buy limited edition books because no one bought them.
No one knew they were there.
I guess. It's super weird, but
Yeah, people started getting them from after the first Siege of Terror limited edition dropped, I feel.
yeah, that was the day of the apocalypse in regards to limited editions being easy to get.
Yeah, when Black Library just kind of went, yeah, we're not selling them on our site anymore. We have to get them from GW directly now.
Yeah, that
and
was.
crash.
I mean, it isn't a mistake from a selling standpoint, but I don't like it.
The reason that they doing it that way is because to try and limit the attempts of scalpers, because on GW's site they could do it so it's only one per order kind of thing, but on Black Library you could literally order all 1,500 in one go if need be.
Oh my god!
And it kind of realized that's kind of stupid if we have considering Black Library crashed when the Siege of Terror novel first dropped. I mean, remember, I got charged I got charged 150 quid for the first novel because it charged me 3 times because the site was being so slow. Because every time you click process the order, it just kick you back to the place your order screen, and I didn't realize the order had gone through. I got my money back though, don't worry. But
Oops.
It was just
yeah, rot, just sheer malignant rot. Imagine an evil billionaire man, or just a billionaire, who buys the entire stock of 1,500 books from the Black Library site just to be evil.
Mm. Speaking of limited edition, I do have one question because Dark Imperium and Plague War are basically being retcon with new editions, changing information within them. Does that mean they're going to do new special?
What was it?
Yeah, Dark Imperium and Plague War, they're both being re-released later with retcon changes to them.
Oh yeah, is it confirmed?
Essentially, they're just retiming them. So I think, according to Guy Haley during the interview, essentially they're not changing the details all that much. Essentially, all they're doing is moving the timeline around. So originally, Dark Imperium and Plague War took place at the end of the Indomitus Crusade.
Oh yeah.
But the Indomitus Crusade, as we've now discovered, was stupid long, 100 years long, and Dawn of Fire takes place at the start of it. Oh. So in order to allow the Dark Imperium characters to interact with the Dawn of Fire characters, they're moving it to be in the middle of the Indomitus Crusade at the end of Phase 1. So it's only a dozen years after Dawn of Fire rather than 100 odd to allow the characters to cross, mingle and interact.
Which is quite interesting considering the fact that by this point in time, if they're moving it so it's only a dozen years, was it? Dark Imperium's now taking place?
Ish.
Yeah. So at this point, the Blood Angels haven't gotten their Primaris yet, because that happened 70 years after the start of the Indomitus Crusade.
Yeah, so they're gonna have to change a few things to make it all line up, but
yeah. But I'm just wondering, going back to my original point, does that mean they're gonna redo the special editions? Because the first special edition was 1,500 copies, but the Plague War one was only 750.
I feel like if you're doing a retcon, that doing a limited edition of a book that is essentially a retcon is. Well, I nearly said it's a bit ridiculous, but then this is GW, so who the god knows?
I mean, there's going to be a limited edition for Godbane anyway, so they might just do them all in one go. Get them all now.
Yeah, imagine having it's the Godbane book. That's the third one in the Dark.
Yeah,
Godblight.
Oh, Godblight. Sorry,
Godblight. Okay, dog. Oh, yeah, imagine
Godblight. Yeah.
That. And you want to put it next to the other series books in the series that you have that are limited edition and look really neat and fit aesthetically because they basically look the same, and they look nothing alike because the other one didn't get a limited edition. What are you going to do?
Cry.
Your aesthetics are now ruined. And that is all that matters when it comes to book covers and buying limited edition
No.
books. It's all about aesthetic.
I'll tell you what ruined the stakes for me was getting hold of the Siege of Terror style limited edition for Horus Rising, because the color of the leather doesn't match the color of the leather on the limited edition for the Siege of Terror series. It's a darker shade of brown as opposed to the chocolate brown. It's like it doesn't match. Yeah,
No! Why did they do this?
I don't know. Probably because you can only get the book at Warhammer World.
What the fuck? That's incredibly annoying. I mean, I don't suppose they're going to release the entire series in that limited edition format.
I doubt it. If anything, they'll probably do just Horus Rising and maybe False Gods. But that's probably about it, because that also got like a limited edition and paperback a while back as well, didn't it?
And then it got its textbook.
Mm-hmm. But not the third one?
No.
I mean, it's basically a trilogy.
Yeah, but they only did the first two. Hang on, I'll get the pictures up. Because they did them in like in these black limited editions, like just pure black. Even the siding was black as well. Here we go. Apparently someone actually still has them in stock. But yeah, they just did these two.
Oh yeah. As I said, I vaguely remember these. These look all right.
Yeah.
I mean,
the fact that paperback means a shit.
They don't fit into my aesthetic view of what a limited edition book should look like.
No.
And also, it's only 2 in the trilogy.
Dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Anyway, I guess we can move on.
Yeah, and speaking of blasts from the past, there was a classic orc model that made a return. We'll be back on Boxing Day. Gorzag Gitstomper, designed to look like some orc from Gorka Morka.
It's
so
not
a
just
Games
that.
Day orc.
Yes, Games Day orc, from 1997, 96? One of those 2 years. But I would say I don't like his name. The name I gave my version of that miniature was far better, because I call mine Gut Bucket.
Sorry, did you have that model?
I had the original, yeah. Yeah.
I assume that you were going to bring this up, but wasn't it there like a pretty neat leak that happened for that model?
Oh,
yeah.
There was a thing where someone opened up their Jakob Bugmanson model and found this guy.
Found the sprue for it, yeah.
Unreleased model. Like, holy shit.
As the cool kids are often like to say, oof.
Oof. I mean, oof. If, as it's pronounced, that's usually doesn't that usually indicate something negative though?
It's negative on GW's part. It's like, okay, here's your Bugman model. I mean, it's an unreleased orc. Fuck. You weren't meant to see that.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh god, Herkness has turned up.
No. Sorry, that was hallucination on your part.
But
what I found really funny with this article is that the fact that they had to put this. So, fans of a certain vintage may know, so this has a lot in common with the miniature that was available. So, Games Day exclusive model many moons ago. Asterisk at the bottom, Games Day was the precursor to Warhammer Fest. We're now that old that they have to caveat what Games Day actually was.
Oof.
Now, that is an oof. And then had to explain what Gorka Morka was as well. Gorka Morka was a game released in the 1990s featuring mobs of orcs fighting each other to gain control of scrap left over from a crashed spaceship. It was great. So re-release it then.
They did. Speed Freaks.
No. Yes, the classic Speed Freaks that we are still playing and caring about. They're just like the game Riders of Comera.
Oh god, I forgot about that one.
Gangs of Comera, yeah. AKA the best way to start a Drukhari army ever, because it was like super cheap Reavers and
it was like 30 quid for the entire box set.
Well, that's a good thing then, at least.
It's like cheaper than a start collecting box, and you got more.
It's called Gangs of Comera, sorry, not Riders.
Riders of Comera.
Yeah, that was a game. Did anyone play that? Like, just anyone? Anyone?
No.
Like, human.
No one played it. They just bought it for the models so they can start a Dragari army.
I mean, that's fair. That is fair. Although I, for some reason, when I was on my like rampage to try and purchase like every single Games Workshop book, I did buy that box without the models. And
sorry, did you say you bought the box without the models?
Yeah, without the models, because I wanted like the rule book that it came with, and that was just not really a thing that I needed to do. But I think I got it for pretty cheap, though. I don't know.
So if you just bought the rule book, that's one thing, but buying the actual box without the models, like, wait, what?
Completely unnecessary. Like,
I wanted the empty box on my shelf.
I honestly I mostly wanted it for like lore purposes, I think.
That's fair.
But,
That's fair.
I don't think it contained any lore. Probably.
In fairness, it probably has more lore than the 9th edition codices do.
Oh.
What?
Yeah, the 9th edition codices are kind of shit when it comes to lore. Like there's like fuck all in them. Like it. The best comparison. It's like going from 2nd edition to 3rd edition, in terms of how much lore and stuff you get in the codex.
To be fair, I've not checked through the codexes just yet because I have
There's like
very other things to do.
Because like you know how in the 8th edition codex, like literally half the book will be lore and the other half will be rules. In the 9th edition codex, it's just like a quarter of the book is probably about a third of the book is rules. No, a third of the book is lore, and the rest of it is rules. So basically, like, you're like losing a good like 15-20% worth of lore. And even then, what lore you do get is very, very like watered down and very, quote unquote, to put it generously, streamlined.
I'm just gonna take one of the codexes here that I actually have. Codex Necrons. I remember Codex Necrons, because I read all the lore snippets that you post, Rem. I know that it had some interesting lore tidbits at the very least that were like new.
Yeah.
Oh, and completely contradictory to previously established lore, which
I mean, this is Necron lore.
I mean, that's just
hilarious and good.
When has Necron lore ever been consistent? I mean, when we get to 10th edition, we'll just be going back to Chaos Androids.
Sorry, I just wanna mention this because it is funny. Like in 2016, when we made episode 16. No, not 2016. That was like 2014. Never mind. When we made episode 16, we did an episode on basically like Catan lore, like a lot of Catan lore and other stuff. And the thing that was highlighted was, the Catan ate the souls of like the old ones and stuff, which was not correct, which people pointed out in the comments, because souls are, immaterial things, and the Catan are entirely material beings. So what they eat is, life force, essentially, as pointed out in like the 5th edition codex, right? Mostly.
Yeah, and the 3rd edition codex, in fairness.
Vaguely implied, or I think it was life force to some extent in the 3rd edition.
Well, in the 3rd edition codex, it said that the Catan ate the physical remains of the Necron tier when they went through the biotransference process, and then 5th edition went to say it was life force.
I also remember in the 3rd edition codex, the section on the Void Dragon mentioned that the demons ate the souls that the Void Dragon, left
ignored,
after having consumed the life force of its victims.
Yeah, that was in the
well, that was the Dragon of Birth.
But I feel like in the 5th edition codex, it talks about Cesarek realizing how upgraded his new form was, but realizing that he was missing something, his soul. So the Necrons still lost their soul.
Yeah, but at the same time, when you look about the stuff where it talks about destroyers, it talks about the remnants of their souls.
Nevertheless, I was getting a bit off track. Sorry. So like we pointed that out, which was not correct. Don't listen to TTS as a lore source, please. But then Games Workshop went and made the 9th edition Necron Codex, which, specifies that the Catan ate the souls of their victims. So they went and made our dumb lore incorrect tidbit thing canon. Ha! Vindicated. So I went onto that episode and went to the 5-year-old comment section and started in spite typing out, "Hey, you should have read the 9th edition codex before posting this comment. Very embarrassing."
Oh, I love those people who are just like, well, actually, didn't you read this? That book came out 2 years after I made the video. I'm not
I know that all too well.
It's one of those things. But hey, GW watches TTS further confirmed.
Thank you, Gamer's Workshop. Please, make dig us canon more again.
Quickly, just bringing focus back to TTS and GW. Whatever happened to the plans of having a bunch of Black Library authors voice members of the Illuminati?
That went.
Good luck with that.
That collapsed slightly because let's see here. I'm friends with one Black Library writer, and he simply did not have the time to do it. More or less. So that was a completely understandable reason for not doing that. And I assume maybe that would have been Games Workshop probably wouldn't be upset by that though. That it's such a minor, just a little small fun thing. I don't think they would get upset by that or anything like that.
If nothing else, you're protected by the parody clause anyway, so...
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be a thing, but it's a fun idea. But then again, including the Illuminati in a video, that can that might be a bit...
Get the wrong eyes on your content.
Oh, the wrong eyes? Wait, what are you implying now?
The Illuminati's gonna start watching TTS.
Who knows? Who the god knows?
Every now and again, just now one episode, you just hear the
conspiracy theory groups start hunting me.
You just hear the X-Files theme playing in the background of the episode.
Oh, okay. Anyway, yeah. So, what were we talking about before this happened?
I think.
Well, let's move on to something new or upcoming. Since we talked about, I think it was the Gorkamorka Orc is what we were talking about. But something else new that's coming is the return or update of Warhammer Adventures, which is coming back in February.
Oh yeah, vampires.
So there's going to be Plague of the Nurglings for Warhammer 40,000's version, and Fortress of Ghosts for the Age of Sigmar version.
Can I just say that on the Plague of the Nurglings cover, I love the aesthetic of the Phantom of the Opera Inquisitor.
Wait, hold on.
I mean, it's supposed to be a mechanical augment, but I see what Rem's doing with the operatic mask thing. I see where he's going with it.
Let me have a quick look.
It's here now, there you go.
The Nurgle. Ah, I see. Yeah, there he is. What an asshole. That planet. With the childs on them. It's gonna fucking make that planet explode while the children are on the planet.
I mean, you have to wonder just how gross they're going to get, considering it's a kid's book, but it's also Nurgle. And we know Warhammer Adventures doesn't necessarily pull any punches.
Yeah, because didn't someone who actually read that actually turn and said, there's a scene of, one of the kids being ripped in half or something like that in one of the books?
What? What? Really? Why am I laughing?
They don't pull as many punches as you would expect for children. Everyone thought that, oh wait, it's going to be super kid friendly and it's not going to work because it's Warhammer. No, they don't pull punches. They do not pull punches.
So those people who say Warhammer can't work as a kid's property, can I just turn around and say, we grew up with the animals of Farthing Wood, okay? If you've ever seen that show, you know how fucked up it is. And that's a children's cartoon. And that's showing scenes with, baby animals being impaled on thorns and bleeding, or animals being crushed, shot, blown up, whatever. Well, not necessarily blown up, but that show was dark as fuck.
Not necessarily.
That show was dark, okay? So,
That one
Warhammer
wasn't
could
the
work
one
as a
with
children's
the
property if
bleeding-
we could have that.
That one wasn't the one with the bleeding, like, rabbits, right? Or
That was Warship Down, which was also like kids' film
Oh,
as
yeah.
well. And that was also fucked up as well. So, like, I just want to say, ignore the BBC miniseries Warship Down. That was shit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just go for the 1970s animated film, the one with John Hurt in it. You'll see what I mean by how fucked up that is in places. Like, it goes full-blown fucking
the
silent.
animation is pretty neat.
It goes full-blown Silent Hill in places.
Rabies rabbits. Nice. I hope
Like,
for Plague of the Nurglings that they depict that one really neat ancient artwork of the great Unclean One being very happy as the Nurgling slides down its like horrible tongue thing, like a water slide. You know the artwork I'm speaking of, it, yes?
Yeah.
I think I do, yeah. I think I do. But anyway, that is a thing, and that will be back in February. On a more, where was I going? On a more recent note, the Death Guard are back. They've got their new codex, including a new allegiance ability. Sorry, it's not called allegiance ability in 40k. I don't even know what you call it. Faction ability. Essentially, Death Guard now have an aura of you all have -1 toughness, ha ha. So by round 3, every single enemy unit within 6 inches of a Death Guard unit is -1 toughness.
That okay.
Ow.
That all right. Fuck. Are there any units that have 1 toughness? I don't think so. But are there?
No, even Grots I think it's up to 2.
Okay. I was just wondering, like, what happens if a unit just hits 0? Do they die, like in Necromunda?
I would assume so.
I think if a unit hits toughness 0, it does die. I think. But I don't think that will come up because you can't stack it. So
Right.
I don't think it will come up in this particular instance.
Does any other particular units have that same or a similar ability?
Aura, no. There will be psychic powers that do it, and I bet the Death Guard have one. But in terms of aura abilities, most aura abilities are buffs rather than debuffs, which is what makes this one so special.
Okay. Is it any particularly like more overpowered than previous?
I don't know. But
Okay,
what they
that's
have
fair,
done is
yeah.
they've got rid of disgustingly resilient. The save after save that made Death Guard so ungodly annoying is gone.
Oh, okay.
Instead, you're at -1 to like all your weapons have -1 damage against them to a minimum of 1. Meaning the best way to deal with Plague Marines is a horde of bolt guns, because a crack missile is now damage D6 -1. A Power Fist is now damage 2 instead of 3, and bear in mind all Marines got buffed to have 2 wounds or 3 wounds depending on who you were.
Oh, yeah.
So some weapons have just had their main ability taken away, meaning the best way to deal with Death Guard is spam them with small arms.
Oh god.
Probably. Anyway, I haven't played 40k in a while, so it's not one I
mean,
know too well.
That's understandable.
But on another front, a very different front, we got to see the first gameplay trailer for Warhammer 40,000 Darktide.
Oh, gonna be honest, I didn't watch it for some reason. I have no idea why. I haven't seen it yet. But is it anything? Okay, I haven't.
It's basically 40k Vermintide.
Yeah, I was gonna say I haven't played Vermintide, even though I know it's very popular and a lot of people like it. For no reason, by the way. It's just that I don't play a lot of games. But yeah, it's how I like, say, a game that I have played a lot, Left 4 Dead. Is it?
Or Deathwing.
Or I haven't played Deathwing that much either, honestly.
Didn't you have
Well,
a game
you've
with
got-
Gav and ADB, though?
Yeah, but that was it.
Ah.
I played with them, but not much more.
I mean, they've got the aesthetic of it nailed absolutely down. You've got a mad idiot with a hammer screaming your face off in the name of the God Emperor whilst charging in like a lunatic.
Yeah.
You've got an ogrin. You've got skilled scions or guards, men and women, stormtroopers, that sort of thing.
Rattling?
It's
Rattling, please?
they didn't show a rattling in the trailer, but
Fuck.
there may well be.
Screw the rattling. Bring back a squat. We want squats.
I want
We'll get to the Chaos Dwarf later. Yep, we'll get there later. And they also showed off a bunch more stuff for Battle Sister, like a cinematic trailer, the launch trailer, and the sort of dev interview. It's actually the people who made Freeblade, which I didn't realise.
Wait, the mobile game?
Yeah.
Oh,
Pixel Toys are the ones who made it.
mhm.
Oh, so that's the one that you need Facebook for, isn't it?
No, wait.
Because it's for Oculus, and
Remade or
no, it's Battle System.
Yeah, it's for Oculus.
Yeah, and for Oculus, you need to have a Facebook account for that, don't you? Because Facebook owns Oculus.
Oculus Imperial.
No, not that Oculus Alpha.
Not that
Why
Oculus.
is it stealing away the video games from me?
To fund his sausages, I don't know.
Curse his forehead, Oculus Imperial. I will murder him.
Oh, speaking of Oculus, Oculus, if you're listening, Star Trek Voyager. There you go. You can hate me all you want now.
I'm sorry, Rem. I don't think Facebook Oculus is listening. Also, yeah, okay, so you need Oculus Imperia to... Okay. You need this to play Battle Sister?
Yeah, basically what happens, Oculus puts his hands over your eyes.
Please?
He puts his hand over your eyes and he makes little puppets, shadows, things.
Of course, I don't live in Canada. Oh.
That's why all you need to do is go to Ireland, and then when he goes and visits his family, you say, Oculus, I need to play Battle Sister, put your hands over my eyes.
Oh, this is a very good tactic, actually. We shall employ this immediately.
Yes.
We just need to trick him into going to Ireland. Probably by threatening the Tato chocolate, onion, and crisp bars stocks.
Now just tell him about the Tato Civil War.
What? Okay, is that just going to like worry him to the extent that
Because one of those trucks is Tato's from the Republic, and the other truck is Tato's from the North. There you go. Just leave it at that. Tato Civil War.
Fuck. Sound strategy. We will bring Oculus Imperial to our houses so we can play video games.
With Tato's.
Yeah, through sheer threatening.
Also, as a side note, my uncle actually had a pony called Tato.
Okay, that's neat. What kind of pony?
Shetland pony.
Ah, those are very small.
Yes.
Or not super small, but fairly
Yeah.
small.
They're smaller than horses, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, they are.
He was adorable. I used to call him Tato the Potato. I was very young back then.
This is very fitting.
Yes.
Since his name
Yes.
is Tato.
Tato the Potato.
You can bring us forth now. Tactica Imperialis, please.
Right, fine. I'm just gonna let you finish. So I actually misspoke about 3 minutes ago when I said the word Chaos Dwarf. What I actually meant was Skeleton Dwarf.
Wow. What?
Oh, the one that looks like Guy Fieri.
So this is a Skrull half height, a star player coming to Blood Bowl, a dwarf gifted with unnatural prowess for throwing the ball. He was an ill fit for dwarven teams since, well, the receiving dwarves struggled to catch it. Resurrected via necromancy to play for a team with a slightly more forgiving team dynamic. A thrower with armor value 9, movement 6, even though he's a dwarf, and a ridiculously good passing game. So, yeah, that's a thing.
What was he called? You said, I want to see him.
Guy Fieri.
Skrull half height.
Scroll half height. Ooh. Oh, would you look at that? Okay, yeah, I can see that he is a dwarf. Oh, is he a remodeling? Did he exist previously?
I don't think so.
I don't know Blood Bowl well enough to know, if I'm completely honest.
I'm just saying this because I saw like a picture of another entirely different model, and it said scroll half height. That usually indicates that a model like that previously existed. But I don't know. I may be completely off. Looks
No
neat,
idea.
though. I really like the undead models that were released fairly recently for Blood Bowl. They look very Halloween-y.
Yes, the Halloween team. Yes, of course. I remember now. And I think we would be doing a public disservice if we didn't at least mention the Battleforge beta in the Warhammer 40,000 app.
Yes.
Is it any good?
I don't know. From what I can tell, and I haven't really tinkered with it because I haven't been able to play, it came out in beta and you could tell. It seems as though it was quite buggy on launch, and I know that GW have been doing a lot of fixes and updates. Like, I'm looking through the article from Monday, and they're looking through the updates. So they've now got short form data sheets in the app, updates to iOS, Android, and both, a user's guide, a further update list, and then every single amended unit and ability goes on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I can't bother to count. It's like 50 to 60, 70 updates that they changed in the terms of bugs and amendments and things like that.
Oh shit.
Jesus.
Yeah, I'll tell you whether or not it's good when I actually get to use it, when I play 9th for the first time, like after the current situation is resolved a bit.
Yeah, once Steve
more.
Carino is gone and we have time to play again.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry?
What's Rem's name for it? He calls it Steve Carino.
So we can keep our monetization.
They've stopped demonetizing it.
I know, but it's stuck though. So
Steve Carino. When Steve Carino has been executed for high treason, then we can play Warhammer again.
Well, to be honest, I bought Diachasm kind of on the idea of I can play a game over the internet with someone because it's hex-based.
This is fair. I've just been modeling like a lot recently, and I kind of want to just use my models in like real life just because I made them. Then again, we did recently like play. Okay, not recently. It was a few months ago. We played like a Necromunda campaign with Tabletop Sim, and my friend Garrett imported some of my models into Tabletop Sim through a cool little like thing that you can do where you can basically import your own models by taking 360 shots of them and just importing them into like a program. I don't remember which program, a 3D modeling program. And then importing.
Yeah, I know Anchors was using Tabletop Sim a lot for a while, and sort of saying, "Hey, play against me on Tabletop." I never got around to it because it always felt clunky.
It's nice though. It is. It's like when you get used to the functions that are available. It is like it is easier to play Tabletop Sim, or it's easier to play tabletop in Tabletop Sim than it is to play in real life for many reasons. It's just not, not entirely the same feeling, of course, but it's still cool and nice and fun. And if you can import your own models, then that's, even better.
Absolutely. So, final piece of news. The pre-orders this week is House of Artifice, as well as the Archaeotex and Neotex for Necromunda, as well as Blood Bowl getting a Dwarf and Skaven card pack and dice,
Hang on,
and the Underground Blood Bowl expansion, as well as some badges.
Hang on. But by the time this episode goes out, House of Artifice would have already been out. It went on pre-order last week.
Oh, was it? Oh, God, it's the 12th. Sorry. Yeah, that's the 12th. Sorry. This week's pre-orders is just the Orc. No, it's nothing. I think it actually is nothing this week.
Probably because they're so close to
dealing with
Christmas,
orders. Yeah, what am I saying? Sorry, I'm a bit frazzled. It was my last day of term this week, and I'm still a bit frazzled. So
You're frazzled.
Sorry about that.
It's totally fine. You're more online than me.
Also, as an unrelated bit of information, someone from my Patreon Discord posted something from one of the Caiaphas Cain books. It's a bloody reference to Eeyore. Like, literally, like...
Oh, yeah, I saw you post that.
Memoirs of a Pessimist by Eeyore the Donkey. Eeyore the Donkey. That hurts.
On the nose.
Well, yeah, was it that on the nose? Hold on, I need to check it again. I know that.
Hang on, I'll post it here for you. Here you go.
No, I found it. Sorry. Memoirs of a Pessimist. Eeyore the Donkey. Oh yeah, that's literally it.
Yeah.
It's spelled Dedon Kai.
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 The letter Kai.
Eeyore the Donkey, Memoirs of a Pessimist. If you don't expect gratitude, you'll seldom be disappointed.
Also, fun fact, Eeyore was voiced by Optimus Prime. They had the same voice actor. Well, they did. Peter Cullen. He voiced both Eeyore and Optimus Prime. There you go.
Maybe in your country. In my country, Eeyore had the same voice as fucking... I don't remember a role for him now.
If I remember correctly as well, in Japan, Homer Simpson had the same voice as Darth Vader.
Yeah, that yeah, yes, that scams. Oh yeah, Eeyore had the same voice as Droopy.
I'm sure
From
happy.
Detective Droopy, specifically. Remember Detective Droopy?
No, I don't. I remember the Sylvester and Tweety mysteries, but not Detective Droopy.
Oh, that was a thing. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I remember that too. That was neat.
Not as neat as the Mike Tyson mysteries.
Okay, I don't remember that.
Also, speaking of funny and interesting things, has anyone seen today's James Workshop video?
No, but Hercules will be absolutely overjoyed to see James Workshop.
Oh yeah, he will be very, very upset about Jamer's Workshop posting another video ruining his reputation even further.
It is very good. For those shoppers who like to mask up and buy their goods in person, fear not. Warhammer stores are open, and we've made them safer than an Iron Warrior's lunchbox.
Thank you, Jamer's Workshop. Do you know, Snipe and Wib made that joke first. Did you know this? Like James Workshop? Okay, I'm sure that a lot of people have made the joke James Workshop, but still.
This is when we found that Snipe and Web are actually executives for Games Workshop.
The love children of Jamer's Workshop. No, this is wrong, actually.
Right, so we're going to have to tweet them saying, "Are you the love children of James Workshop?"
Fuck.
At Snipe and at Web.
No, do not type on twitter.com.
And said, no, really. How'd you go, no?
Dear, oh dear, oh dear. Right, Rem, what have you been reading this week?
Well, I've only managed to get halfway through the Astorath novel because I've been so busy doing about 3 videos at once. But I also managed to read the short story Embers of Extinction as well, though.
Okay, I don't remember that one.
It's one that only just came out for the 12 Days of Christmas reading.
Okay.
And it's basically just a story about Perturabo reforging Forgebreaker.
Okay.
Because, Ferrus Manus' hammer, forged by Fulgrim and given to you by Horus, wasn't enough. You had to go and reforge it again because you knew best.
Yeah, pretty much.
Does it serve any service to his character in any manner?
It does basically going to help explain his more logic-focused mindset when compared to some of the other Primarchs. Because he explains his reasoning for reforging Forgebreaker, because he gives the hammer to one of his warriors and says, "What can you tell me about this hammer?" It's like, it's perfectly balanced. It's like, exactly, that's a problem. Why is it a problem?
You want it to be more weighted on the hitting end.
Not quite. He wants it to be unbalanced and over encumbered, so that he can be used to wielding it no problem. But if someone, for whatever reason, gets hold of the hammer and tries to use it against him, they will be unfamiliar with the weight and how to hold it properly, costing them precious seconds, giving Perturabo a chance to beat the shit out of them.
Whoa.
Which, to be fair, given that Fulgrim did end up beating up Manus with Forgebreaker, kind of makes sense.
He basically goes into start going on how, this is basically what our Legion is. We are iron. We are, unbreaking. But we are malleable. Blah blah blah. And that's
We are unbreaking, but we will bend.
pretty much. It's not a bad one because it's Spinal 5. I've not actually seen any of their work before. I can't remember their name, but it looks like a new author. I'll try. Let me just get their. Who the bloody hell was it? It was Brandon Easton.
I feel like I know that name, but I couldn't tell you where
Yeah.
from. Or maybe it's just there are similar names that I've heard before.
Yeah. I think this one's actually not too bad at story in regards to, understanding a bit more of Perturabo's psyche. It's actually not that bad.
Well, given that almost everything else written about him just buries him.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot better than The Serpent's Dance, which I was very disappointed with, because that's the Emendera Kendall short story. And pretty much the premise of the story is like, hey, Malkador sent me to infiltrate this party on Pluto to get information. Hey, look, it's a Psyker. Hey, look, he's got a bodyguard who's a blank. Oh no, his other bodyguard's an Alpha Legion spy. Oh no, everyone's just blown up. The end.
Oh, for goodness sake, really?
Yeah.
It just blows up.
It's like, oh well, I guess we better keep looking for them spies. It's like, I feel like this story added absolutely nothing to the greater, the greater story. It was like it's the literary equivalent of a filler episode.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Horus Heresy. Horus Heresy specifically having like a bunch of, what you essentially call it, filler stuff.
We got like 56 novels plus like eight full novels for the Siege of Terror plus novellas. We don't need filler. We got enough.
No, yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I'm halfway through the Astorath novel, but I'm going to keep calling him Astorath because it's just easier for me to say. I don't care if it's wrong.
Wait, his name's Astorath?
Astorath, yeah.
What?
Wait, okay.
Everyone and their mother's been calling him Astorath for years.
Astorath or Astorath, yeah, because Astorath.
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 Yeah.
As opposed to Astaroth, because Astaroth has an A, doesn't it?
Fuck. Did you listen to an audiobook to confirm this, or
No.
you assume?
I'm assuming based on the spelling. But anyway, I'm going to call him Astaroth
okay.
as opposed to Astaroth or whatever we'll call it. Fuck it.
Yeah,
Anyway,
okay.
everyone knows who the fuck I'm talking about. It's the
Big Blood Angel Axe guy.
yeah. Halfway through his novel, and he's only showed
Spoiler
up.
warning in place.
Yeah, spoiler warning. Spoiler warning. Yeah. Anyway, halfway through his novel, he's only showed up for the fucking prologue so far.
Oh.
They might as well just call the story.
No.
They might as well just call the story, the Red Wings fan fiction novel, because it's about the Red Wings chapter. It's about the Red Wings chapter, and
No.
Astorath has only showed up for the prologue so far. Again, I'm only halfway through, so he probably shows up again later. I can't confirm at this
What?
point in time. What do you mean, what?
What? Is there actually a...
Well, bear in mind, this narrative device has been done before. Remember the novel
No,
Legion
is
of
there
the...
actually... Oh, is there actually a chapter called Red...
Yeah, there's a chapter called The Red Wings, yeah.
Oh my...
And here's the thing, right?
Gamers Workshop.
The Red Wings chapter, their symbol is, a red wing, duh. But their armor is described as being the blue-white of ice. Therefore, I have a feeling that this is just an elaborate reference to the Detroit Red Wings hockey team.
Is there a hockey team called Red Wings?
Yes, there's a
Yeah, Detroit.
Detroit Red Wings, yeah, for the
Wow.
NHL, yeah.
What are they doing?
I don't know.
Well,
Considering
just as...
they describe the armor colours being the blue of ice, specifically, and they have a red wing as their symbol, it's like...
God.
I don't know if that's intentional or just a coincidence, but I'm just saying.
Well, Guy Haley's not from Detroit, so it can't be that.
And you don't necessarily be from Detroit to have them as your favourite team, though, do you? I mean, how many people here in England, their favourite football team is Manchester United, and none of them are from fucking Manchester. I mean, people from Manchester...
I mean, my favourite team's Manchester City, and I'm from Manchester, so shush.
Exactly. People from Manchester only find Manchester United as their favourite team. It's Man City, that's theirs. But my point...
Actually, yeah, good point. This city is ours.
Yeah. But my point remains the same. You got people from London or whatever saying Man U's their favourite team, but I digress.
Yeah, fair point.
So, the interesting thing about this book so far is who the antagonists are. Because
Themselves, I'd guess, because Death Company.
No, the antagonists... No, you're thinking the protagonist. The Red Wings are the protagonists. The
Yeah, but like they'll be fighting their own inner demons is sort of what I was going at.
Oh, right, so I see what you mean. But no, the antagonists are actually the enslavers.
Whoa.
What?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, it's like...
Hello?
I know. It's like the first bit of actual, novelized fiction we have for the enslavers that I can think of. Because
They've been gone since they ate the old ones.
the last time we ever saw anything in regards to the enslavers was in the Deathwatch RPG, because they were responsible for the Nemesis incident for the Stormwardens chapter.
Oh yeah.
But-
Sorry, not since.
But that was like the last time we heard of anything in regards to the enslavers being brought up. So this is actually a really, really nice nice bit of information. I like this. And we also
Any
actually...
new lore? Give me the new lore.
Yes, there is.
Enslaver lore, please, I demand.
There is. The actual name of the species is not Enslaver. Enslaver is just a common nickname for them. The actual name for the species is Siren. As in, like...
I've heard that name.
Yeah, I've heard
Syren.
Yeah.
I've heard that too.
Yeah, that's the actual species name. Sirens. Yeah.
What is that from? I recognize that's like a lot.
Yeah, like I mean, siren in terms of like the etymology where we know about the sirens was they were the merfolk who lured sailors to their doom.
Yeah.
But,
There was also a manga called Siren as well.
probably. But I've swear I've seen siren with a Y in 40k before. I don't think this is a new revelation.
Yeah.
Just
So weird.
and in defense of the, and I'm not defending the novel because I don't know how good it is, but in defense of the title of the novel isn't in it. I Raise You the Legion of the Damned novel, where Legion of the Damned showed up for 10 pages.
Yeah, and the entire thing
And
just
it was
basically
still a
excoriates as a
brilliant
novel.
Yeah, it was an excoriators novel with 10 pages of the Legion of the Damned, and it was called the Legion of the Damned, and it was still really good. You can have the title protagonist not show up much.
Oh, apparently the term siren has actually been used before back in an old creature feature thing for White Dwarf.
Well, okay then. That yeah. All right. That,
One written by Andy Chambers, in fact, so quite an old one.
So I'm going to make a prediction that what's going to happen is the Siren are going to use their abilities to mind jack some of the Red Wings, thus unlocking their inner potential to go super death company, super death mode. They will kill the Siren, and then Astorath will show up to deliver the Blood Angel's mercy onto the Red Wings and then leave.
What's basically happened so far is that in the prologue when Astorath turns up, alongside with his entourage, They're basically investigating the fact that a Primaris Marine has actually fallen to the Black Rage, and this is actually supposed to be the very first instance of this occurring, like throughout all the Blood Angel successor chapters. So basically,
Right.
and basically after saying, tell me what happened, and we get talking about the story about the enslavers and all that.
In media res.
In medias res, yeah. So the basic premise is that with the formation of the Great Rift, a shit ton of psychers have started popping up on this one particularly damp and swampy world. Literally, it's like just an entire world of swamp. Because, of course, the Imperium would sell there. Why not? And the enslavers have basically been communicating psychically with these new psychers in the world. And the way they describe it is like the psychers feel like their souls are drifting through basically meeting them, and the enslavers are like going like, hello, we're being all very nice and inviting. Why don't you come and give us a cuddle? It's like, oh, these are very nice people. It's like, and then the enslaver just kind of stabs him in the chest with that tentacle and goes, mine. And now you're under their spell. Pretty much, yeah. Interestingly, it's like when they also describe how the enslavers manifest into real space, because a psyker basically starts acting possessed, their body splits open, and this massive balloon floats out, and then it splits into 3 different enslavers. Because the enslavers operate in groups of 3, which are known to the enslavers as triads.
Oh,
Yep, makes sense.
Cool.
Oh, well, we knew, and I did a video on the enslavers and stuff a while ago, that the enslavers would have one of them mind jack a psyker and then use that psyker as a gateway for some of their friends. But I don't think we've ever had it quite so spelled out.
Yeah, because we have a chapter that's like briefly told from the enslaver's point of view, and they've referred to each other as first one, second one, third one, and first, second one.
What is this, Harbinger? What are they, Reapers?
Guess as good as mine. But yeah, and also there's one Primaris Redwing who's an utter prick. That's the best way to describe him. He is like the most like prickiest prick that ever did prick. He's basically the Maxwell Jacob Friedman of Primaris Space Marines.
Ouch.
That's a disservice to Maxwell Jacob Friedman, actually. But anyway, he is like a really unlikable character, and I'm pretty sure that was intentional. But it's still like, oh god, fuck off and get killed already, kind of thing. But then when the Space Marines are fighting the enslavers and the infected psychers, one of them starts succumbing to the Black Rage because the Grey Rift has basically been emitting out flares when the enslavers have been gathering. And these flares have basically been stimulating latent psychic activity in people upon the world. And a couple of these Primaris Marines were briefly exposed to one of these flares. And one of them briefly had a vision of him being sanguine, like looking down and seeing his hands were clad in golden armor, just very briefly. And it's like, what the fuck was that? It's like, but like, none of the Primaris Marines knew the full extent of what the Black Rage actually was, because all of their firstborn Marines, save for like one that's with them, were like dead. There's like only like 50 firstborn Marines left in the entire chapter, and each one's like leading like effectively like assigned to like like a demi company or whatever.
Well, I mean, the devastation of Baal will do that to you.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Sorry, I I gotta ask. Do the Red Wings Space Marine chapter also suffer from the Red Thirst?
Yes.
Fuck you, Games Workshop!
Oh no.
We have
Oh
We have awakened Harkness.
No, Harkness would have no idea.
Maybe you're the glue.
He is entirely clueless. But
yes, I noticed when he used a picture of Corvus Corax for Curse.
Talk about other book now. I am tired. I'm tired of the Red Wings Space Marine chapter made by Games Workshop.
I'm very nearly done. Don't worry. But yeah, as they're fighting the enslavers and they're infected, one of these Primaris Marines fully succumbs to the Black Rage, and like his communicator's been turned off. So his captain's like, why isn't he answering? If he remotely turns it back on because, you know, being a captain, he has the power to do that. And as he does, he just hears this Primaris screaming, "Why, Horus? Why? Why did you betray father? Why?" And it's like, cuts the link. It's like, oh, can't let anyone else hear that.
And it's just like, they're like, what's that mean? Bleep, here we go again.
Yeah, and that's basically where I've gotten to so far.
Fair enough. Right, close spoilers before Alpha's head explodes for the Astorath novel. I'm hoping once again to get Darkness in the Blood over the weekend because it wasn't in store when I went, and I've still got it on order. So hopefully it shows up along with some K-Night Shadowstalkers. So I will hopefully get to talk about Darkness in the Blood at some point in the new year.
Oh, okay.
What have you been reading, Alpha?
No, nothing. I have only been modeling, and so I read a bit of I recently purchased the Call of Cthulhu RPG rulebook. I think it is a new edition that was recently released. I just bought it on a whim from my local hobby shop, and I just I really wanted to read it. Because
I remember the last time we had you on was around the time Warhammer Horror had just come out, and you were doing like group readings of Warhammer Horror.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, absolutely. I haven't read in like a long time now, unfortunately, which kind of sucks. But at least I'm doing something Warhammer instead of just
writing TTS.
Yeah, just writing video stuff. But yeah, I'm just way into modeling stuff now. I don't know. We can talk about that if we're going to talk about model stuff, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, I haven't really got much model stuff to report. I've got 4 armies worth of piles of shame. I built 20 dread spears in about as many minutes the other day because they were like 1 component models. I've got a boat, a Shadow and Pain, an Ideneth Battle Force, a Dire Chasm. I've got to finish my Daughters of Cain Underworld's Warband. I've still got a Black Dragon sat here to do. I've got more Lumineth to finish. I've still got 5 Archers, 2 Stone Guard, and 5 Pikemen and 3 Cavalry from July that I haven't finished.
Wow. I see.
So
that's what you meant by the pile of shame.
It's 4 separate elven piles of shame. 4 different elven armies in separate piles of shame.
Elven piles of shame. In Kimura, they call that an orgy.
You got like an Instagram or something like that?
No.
Just out of curiosity. Okay.
No, because I've got enough problems with students finding the YouTube. I don't need them following me on the gram as well.
Enough. It's mostly because I use Instagram specifically and only for like model stuff. I only follow people.
Oh, I know most people do. I just have never bothered with it, and I think it's starting to benefit me that there's not an extra place that kids can go and find my stuff.
I mean, I suppose that's fair, but yeah. Good luck with Pile of Shame. Eventually at some point. Hope it doesn't build up too much more.
I mean, I won't need to buy anything until 2023 at this rate.
Ooh, yeah.
So
I technically, I guess, I think I have like a wardrobe of shame, but I've converted it from shame into just bits. I have just a whole bunch of separate faction boxes. But it's
gone from the wardrobe of shame to the closet of opportunity.
Yes, a beautiful way of putting it. I just grab small bits and pieces from every set and just put them in the horrible amalgamation that is my Gene Stealer cult, or my Rattling army, or my newly started Age of Sigmar army, which is of course Gargants. From the Sweat Swamp, which is an actual lore location that they decided to add into Age of Sigmar, which just immediately hooked me. It appeals, it was designed to hook me specifically. I am convinced. So that was neat. There's a lot of toe lore to be had in the Gargant armies.
Yeah, the Mega Gargants make a big deal out of
Yeah.
their feet.
Oh fuck that! I actually have a Mega Gargant that is all finished up, and he looks pretty neat. I made him a skeleton hunter. You see.
It is a nice model, the Mega Gargant, but I already dropped 3 figures on Techless. I don't need to drop 3 figures on a Mega Gargant too.
Okay, that's fair enough. Actually,
I'm just looking around. And I'm looking to my left on my display case, and I've got Techless, Marathi, 2 separate terrain projects, and elements of 4. Is it 4 or just 3? 3 different armies sat on it with Ideneth just off to one side. And then I've got a Gazgul over here, and I've got some Tower got given over here.
Ooh.
And there's the Lumineth frames down there. And I think there's some Stormcast I never finished from 2018 because I couldn't be bothered anymore when Soul Wars came out. Yeah, it's literally when I moved house, there were 2 full-size boxes given over to Nothing But Transporting Warhammer models, a separate box given over to Transporting Warhammer books. I put more boxes into Transporting Warhammer than I did any other single group of items not named clothes.
This is
Like, I had 2 suitcases for my clothes, but 3 big boxes just given over to models and books and all of the Warhammer related stuff. And then 1 box for the kitchen, 1 box of other junk, and 1 box of admin for work. It was like, yeah, okay, I have a problem. It's like, it's fine, but I have a problem.
I mean, yeah, I can completely relate to that, especially with the horrible mass of books that I had to move when I last had to move. The books, when you put books in boxes, they tend to be very, very, very heavy.
Oh god, yeah.
Especially if you stack them on
Yes.
each other. And especially when you have them all like in hardback.
Oh, yes.
It is first world problem. I realize now I should just shut up.
Oh, it's fine. I mean, you're on a Warhammer podcast. Anything we say is the definition of first world problems.
It's fucking true. All right, I have been vindicated. Thank you. I can keep complaining about minute things now without shame, a slight bit of shame. Half a bit of shame.
Anyway, Rem, shall we do some questions?
Sure, why not?
Yeah, I'm not sure how many we've got, but hopefully we've got some interesting ones.
What will Luther do now that he is free?
I mean, wait for the Dark Angels Codex and we'll see if they mention it. I think is kind of where we're at. Because the speculation is that he's leading the Fallen Army now, since Marbus broke him out, but there's no confirmation of that anywhere. That's just Azrael's
allegedly, yeah.
Oh fuck.
Speaking of Fallen, can the Fallen create more Battle Brothers from their gene seed, given that they typically aren't from the Eye of Terror nor have mutation?
I mean, they need a Forge World or a Mechanicus ally that wasn't the Dark Mechanicum, because the Dark Mechanicum would just say, add more warp to it.
Or, an Apothecary.
Say again?
And an Apothecary as well.
And Apothecaries, yeah. And Apothecaries. Which they might have. But, yeah, I think they can, but bear in mind some of the stuff that we believe the Fallen to be is very, very weird and complicated, so...
Yeah. Would they even potentially... Okay, never mind. It's. I was gonna say, do they potentially even wish to have their gene seed turned into more Marines? But then I realize, of course, probably some would, because they're very varied in their character, the Fallen. Like, some are just straight up Chaos Marines, while some are, still loyal. it like varies wildly, right?
Yeah, so some of them are like full blown, screw the lion, all of that, and some of them are just like, let me tell you a story, friend.
Now this is a story all about how my life.
Yet interestingly enough, they still kind of work together, at the very least in Rise of the Primarch. I remember.
Yeah, that was Cypher's Fallen. Yeah.
Yes, he also had like a bunch, like he had a wide variety of different, some were just straight up Chaos Boys and some were still loyal. At least from
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been that book's over 3 years old now, so
it's 2017, wasn't it?
March 2017.
Mm-hmm.
3 years, 9 months.
Interesting.
Guilliman has been back for 3 years and 9 months.
And they still can't decide about how he got his fucking sword.
Literally, Guilliman is about to go and is nearly old enough to go to primary school at this point. Guilliman being back is now old enough to go back to primary school.
Do you know what's also quite funny?
Yeah.
That technically speaking, Guilliman is actually younger than Dante.
What?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Because
Yeah.
Guilliman was in stasis for like 10,000
right.
years, and he's only alive for like about, 300 years, give or take?
How long did the Great Crusade last?
About 300 years, maybe 350.
Yeah, Dante's 1500, yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
So that means Dante can
But,
turn
I mean,
around and say to
Guilliman does-
Guilliman, respect your elders, son.
I mean, to be fair, Guilliman does treat Dante with utmost respect in Devastation of Bars. Like, do not bow to me, Dante. You do not need to.
Well, of course, it's fucking
That's
Dante.
cool.
You know, who doesn't treat him with respect other than maybe Gabriel Seth? You know?
Yeah, and I mean, Gabriel Seth's version of treating with respect is, doing what's instructed with as little complaining as possible. It's like...
Pretty much, yeah.
Just speaking of Gabriel Seth, I really love the explanation as to why Gabriel Seth and the Flesh Terrors are so pushy and argumentative and, like that. It's to sort of like give the idea that they're always on a razor's edge, sort of demonstrating that they walk such a fine line in terms of pushing people and pushing themselves and how close they are to slipping to the rage and the thirst all the time. Is like keeping them in a state of readiness almost.
Oh, speaking of the Flesh Terrors, there's one thing I noticed in the new Blood Angels Codex that really made me think, what? In the relic section, one of the relics that Flesh Terrors can take is supposedly Nasir Amit's Terminator armor, even though they never.
What?
Yeah, even though the only part of the armor they actually recovered was the helmet, and that got destroyed by Gabriel Seth. So it's like, how the fuck do they have his armor? That makes no sense. Why do you have his armor? But anyway.
Like, not even a piece of it. The whole.
Yeah, they have the whole suit, even though the helmet was destroyed and they never found the rest of it. Because Nasir Amit is still wearing it on some demon world, screaming like a demon, and and he's either falling to the Black Rage or ascending to demonhood, or both at the same time.
Because why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, traveled back and forth in time. Warp, that is the good explanation of what we have.
Well, the warp did it. Yeah, we're back to that again.
Yeah. All the way back to episode 1.
They should just embrace it and just fucking do that all the time. Like, every time they have some horrible like contradiction in the lore, just make use of the warp, just like you did with that one orc who killed himself.
So, how are you going to explain all the contradictions in Necron lore? They can't use the warp.
With the Necron. That's fucking true. The one faction that they have the most problem with in regards to this, they cannot use the warp for.
Just completely retcon the Necrons again. No one's going to notice because it happens so bloody often.
Then again, the Catan can travel in time anyway. Because...
Can they?
Yeah.
When does that happen they've ever travelled through time?
Well,
They have an ability called Time's Arrow, so they can certainly mess with it.
yeah, they can, for instance, send units into essentially a. Okay, so this isn't necessarily time travel, I suppose. A timeless, spaceless void that is described as being like the place before time, as if that means anything. Yeah, so they can mess with time if they desire, but I suppose they don't do that a whole lot.
No. I still
Leave that to Orican the Divine.
I still find it weird that the Necrons decide to use the Catan to power up the Pharos beacon. It's like, hey, here's a beacon that acts as a lighthouse in warp space. You know, that thing we can't fucking use. Right. Is Peter Feovari the most underappreciated Black Library author?
Having only read one of his things, that being Firecast, I can't really comment, but when I read Firecast, it was really good.
Yeah, I don't see many people talking about his books that often, so I would say he is actually underappreciated. He's really good and deserves more love. What do you reckon, Alpha?
I haven't read it. Yeah, I'm sorry, I have not read it, unfortunately, so I cannot say.
Have you read it? Not any
no.
of his books, no?
No, unfortunately not. Could you tell me which ones he has written?
He's done Firecast, Requiem Infernal. He's done that new horror novel, The Reverie.
I almost read Requiem Infernal because
it's a really good one.
Super good.
It is, yeah.
But I never got to it.
It's really good and pretty messed up as well, which is surprising. Like, it's a full blown horror novel, but it's not part of the horror line, which is really weird.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Does he write for crime, Feovari? Does he write for Warhammer Crime?
Oh, I'm not sure off the top of my head. Let me check.
No, Chris, right. Ignore me.
Oh, okay. Right. Da-da-da. Has there ever been any elf or Eldar group that has fallen to the other 3 Chaos Gods? So I'm assuming that means any god other than Slanesh.
If you want to make it so for your modeling project.
Yes.
Sure. Have they in the lore? Except
There was a chunk of the Dark Elves that went to Khorne during the End Times.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember that.
Marathi, etc.
Yes.
Marathi went to Khorne,
Right.
even though she was known to be affiliated with Slanesh in some editions.
Yeah, like she was affiliated with Slanesh for a long time in that Dark Elf canon, then she fell to Khorne in the End Times, was eaten by Slanesh in the End Times, fought her way out of Slanesh in the time between, got herself back into the Mortal Realms as a Slanesh-hating demigod snake thing, then went back into Slanesh to eat the souls of the Phoenix Kings, and then became Marathi Kane in Broken Realms. Marathi and Slanesh have a complicated relationship.
Yes.
Marathi doesn't serve Khorne in Age of Sigmar, though, right?
No, she is officially part of the Pantheon of Order. Well, she was, and then she backstabbed Sigmar.
Yeah.
So
so,
she is
like,
her own. She's herself.
Yeah, so like quick thing, there are models of the gods in Age of Sigmar, right? Like most of the elven gods, at least.
Teclis, Marathi, Nagash, Alariel are the big
Nagash
ones.
as well. Yeah. Are they just like shards or avatars or anything like that, or is it
Nope.
just straight up the gods?
It's them.
Okay, so do you think they're going to release, like, for instance, Sigmar first of all as a model? Because
I would like to say yes,
it would
but
feel like kind of shitty if they're like, no, Sigmar is too powerful.
I think
Something
part
like
of it is that Sigmar generally now, because back in the day, back in the Age of Myth and the Age of Chaos, Sigmar went around smashing everything. That was his thing.
Yeah.
But these days, he's got the Stormcast, and he's got the fact that he's got the Realm of Heavens to oversee and actually look after and defend.
Right,
Generally means he hasn't really left Azir in a long time.
Okay.
The nearest it's come is him and Nagash having a chat via the medium of a Stormcast and a corrupted Stormcast in the Soul Wars novel. Generally, Sigmar stays out of it and lets the cities and the Stormcast get on with it, or do what he tells them to do, more accurately.
Sure.
But generally, he doesn't get involved. I would be fine with seeing him, but you'd have to put him in the Stormcast army, and then that means it kind of dunks on the Celestant Prime. Not the Celestant Prime didn't need dunking on, but it's like the Celestant Prime is the ultimate Stormcast. If you then say, well, you may be the ultimate Stormcast, Sonny, but here is the god himself wielding the hammer that he gave to you. Right. Galmaraz is being wielded by the Celestant Prime now. Hang on. So I'd be okay with a Sigmar model, but then where do you toe the line between, well, why haven't we got a Slaanesh model? Why haven't we got a Khorne model?
I was just going to go on to that as well. Since they already have gods, like literal gods, in the tabletop game. Slaanesh, Khorne, Nurgle, Tzeentch. What about them?
Just use Demon Primarchs to represent them.
Are they way too powerful?
They're bound to the realm of chaos.
Okay, that's fair.
Whereas, for example, Teclis and Tyrion cannot go to the realm of shadow. Because they're the gods of light.
Well, what if you want to play a tabletop game in the realm of chaos?
You can.
Give a Nurgle model, please.
This is a great and clean one.
I mean, I would assume that those specific, like the Chaos Gods, just as they are in 40k, are just immensely more powerful due to the inherent like corruption and evil throughout all the realms. As is always the case in 40k, because everything bad, and thus they have a pretty good reason to not be depicted as models, if only because they are just more powerful than any of the other gods. Especially since mentioned that, Morathi fought, made her way into Slaanesh, but, that was
technically what happened was Morathi fed the souls of Khorne, Tzeentch, and Nurgle worshippers to Slaanesh, to give Slaanesh like a stomachache reaction type thing. And while it was distracted, she performed a blood ritual to dive into its belly almost and eat the Phoenix Kings.
Okay, yeah, all right, yeah. So that basically implies that Morathi couldn't just have gone in and fucking punched Slaanesh in the stomach.
We don't know how Morathi got her way out of Slaanesh, but bear in mind, Slaanesh had eaten every single elf in the universe. It had quite the stomachache after it ate all the elves in existence.
Yeah. So that's fair, but then would Sigmar place amongst the Chaos Gods in power level? Because that feels a bit like...
I feel like it's kind of like putting the Emperor into 30k. Like, he is pretty much going to be an I win button, because I've never seen Sigmar lose. Because the only time I've seen Sigmar lose is when he threw Galmaraz into a portal like an idiot. And then he lost Galmaraz for eons until the Hallowed Knights went and got it from Shaman, and then he made the Celestant Prime to carry the hammer. His hammer. He gave it to somebody else. For some bloody reason. But no, I think Sigmar could be in the game, but I think he would have to be like 1,200 points or something, whereas Nagash is 800, because he would pulverize anyone in his way. And also, if you give the good guys, like the core good guys, like the Cities of Sigmar, the regular Joes, that big of a beat stick, like the ultimate I win button, then it kind of defeats the narrative of fighting from underneath against the tyranny of chaos and the machinations of death and the rampages of destruction.
Well,
if you suddenly carry an I win button around, then...
What if you want to fight the tyranny of Sigmar by fielding Sigmar versus 2,000 points worth of just peasants, and see if you can destroy him?
I mean, that's basically what playing Slaves to Darkness is. You just take cultists, because 99% of the realms are still controlled by Chaos and thus owned by the Slaves to
I
Darkness.
want
with their
halfling
marauders and stuff.
revolutionaries, please, against Sigmar. And I want it to be a fair fight. I want the halflings to come in with their like pitchforks, and I want them to all I want to roll 200 dice at once and kill him.
Of course.
This is what I want in my tabletop game, and I do not understand why Games Workshop isn't just trying to seek out my advice on this.
It's because Hurtness Dragonblade hurt their feelings.
Oh yeah, Hurtness Dragonblade is censoring me.
Yes. It's all about the comedy goblins after all, isn't it?
You can move on to the next question now.
Right. How do you feel about comedy goblins? No, I'm just kidding. What do you want or expect from the Umbraneth?
Shadow demons, teleportation, naughty magic that really has no place doing anything other than screwing with you, and Malerian looking like a giant dragon elf monster. That'll do.
Fair enough.
Is that
The hell was
sorry,
that?
Is that going to be entirely? Is that going?
That's
to
all
be,
canon. Malerian is Malekith fused with his dragon and is Malerian. They are shadow demons in his employ.
Right, that I know, but I was thinking is that going to be its own No, never mind. It's obviously going to be its own faction, and it's going to.
Yeah,
be
we know
called
they're coming
Order.
because GW accidentally put it in a K-Knight Shadowstalkers article once. They accidentally name dropped Umbraneth.
Okay. It's going to be part of Order, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would have thought so.
Yeah, I mean, technically, Marathi is still part of Order, even though she's now officially seceded from the Pantheon of Order by backstabbing Sigmar and conquering Anvilgard.
Okay. What was your first army?
Orcs.
Tomb Kings.
Lizardmen.
Neat.
In regards to 40k, my
Yeah.
first 40k army was actually Dark Angels.
Yeah, my first 40k army was probably Tyranids or Chaos or Tyranids. I don't quite remember because I remember this. I have this memory of seeing my friend with Tyranids. I thought they were really cool. But then we had kind of a trade or something. I don't fucking remember. No, I think I had Tyranids, but then I traded them with my friend for Chaos because he really wanted Tyranids. I kind of really wanted Tyranids in actuality, but I just accepted anyway and had Chaos. I think that's it.
Fair enough.
Tyranids again.
Yeah, mine was a bit simpler. The Orcs were an assault on Blackreach, therefore it was the cheapest army to access. The end.
Oh fuck! I remember that box.
Blackreach, greatest box set.
Yeah. Although I am quite partial to Battle for McCrag because that was my first box set.
You just don't get enough stuff in it though. You get a tactical squad, half a squad of Gene Stealers, and half a squad of Gaunts.
Yeah, no, it's not comparable. In Battle for McCrag, you got what? A bunch of termagants or something?
Yeah, and a tactical squad.
Yeah.
And then, in regards to 40k, I started with the second edition box set, which got you 20 Space Marines, 20 Orcs, and 40 Gretchen.
Fuck. Yeah, that's neat. All monopost though, so that's
Yeah.
I mean, I actually own I've got a pile of those second edition Orcs and Grots. I actually have a bunch of them.
Are they part of any particular army, or do you just have them around?
My first army was Orcs, and I still play them. So I built. I've got there was an old detachment for Apocalypse. I can't remember its name, like a big war, where it was 100 Orc boys in one formation.
Yeah.
I can't remember its full name. And so I've got 115 Orc boys and about 30 grots. One thing I find interesting though, looking at that second edition box set, is like it's Blood Angels. It's clearly Blood Angels on the cover, and the Space Marines are painted as Ultramarines.
Yeah.
Yeah, this isn't an official stock photo.
Oh no, it's too high quality for that.
Yeah.
But...
Yeah, this is back when Blood Angels were the poster boys.
Also, the book next to it, again, not an official photo, but it's the first edition rulebook next to it.
No, that's the second edition rulebook. It just has the same artwork.
Oh yeah.
Oh, does it? They kept the artwork without changing over.
Yeah, because the first edition rulebook had a different logo for Warhammer 40,000 on it.
Oh, right. It was Road Trader, wasn't it? Yeah, ignore me.
Yeah, the second edition rulebook is also very, very small, but comes with like 3 other books that you have to like also use. Right?
Yeah, it has the Codex Imperialis, which basically gives you like stats and lore for like pretty much every army in the game, and you had the War Gear book, which had rules and lore for pretty much every single weapon in the game.
And then
Rather than a massive one index.
Yeah, I mean, it was good to have like all this in-depth lore, and even so, like these books were like interspersed with things like short stories and little info dumps of like in the corner and stuff like that. It was really cool. Yeah, I still see that as being like the gold standard in regards to how rule books can actually be set up.
Well, I mean, the 5th edition. I remember the 5th edition rulebook had all the Universal Specials and every single gun at the back of it. It didn't have every single unit because the game had got too big, but it did have every single gun in the back of it, even in the mini version.
And also in the actual box set as well, you actually had the Codex army list as well. So if you didn't actually have a codex for an army, you could actually use this to basically make an army list and stuff. Which, funnily enough, for like pretty much all of 2nd edition, was the only way you could actually legally play squats on a tabletop. Because I had rules.
Why did they not have a codex?
No, squats didn't have a codex. They were in the Codex Imperialis book, and they had an army list in the Codex army list in the actual box set, but they never actually got a standalone codex.
Yeah, in the 2nd edition, wasn't it like at that point when they were going to, or well,
they gave up,
planning on like a squat codex, and no one wanted to write it, so they just dropped squats entirely at that point.
Pretty much, because like if you look at the other Imperial codices, like in the allies section, also like you can choose allies from the Eldar Codex or the Imperial Guard Codex or the Squat Codex. It's like, but the Squat Codex doesn't exist. It's like we're writing this just in case.
Don't worry, it's going to come up for 9th.
If they actually do drop a squat codex for 9th,
there'll be much rejoicing. Come on, I mean, do you remember how everyone like was cheering when they revealed Grendel Grendelson for Necromunda? Everyone was like, "Squat!"
Oh yeah, I remember. You were one of them.
I know. I'm not denying it. It basically showed like, we want squats. Here's a squat. Yay, squat!
Yeah, that was their control test.
Yeah. Right, next.
So they've added in squats, they've added back Zotes, Men of Iron.
Next up, the main Sahar-Dween are going to be in it.
Scalies.
Actually, no. Speaking of Sahar-Dween, they were actually name dropped in Horus Heresy Inferno, talking about the Space Wolves conquests. Like they actually waged a campaign against the Sahar-Dween worlds. So, for those who don't remember, the Sahar-Dween were the Shark people.
Yeah, it's not a name I know.
They had one model back in the 1st edition days, and they were name dropped in 2nd edition as being a greater threat than the Catan.
Oh fuck! That must be canon.
And bear in mind, this was before. This was written before the Necrons were revealed. Even when the Necrons were added in 2nd edition, like
Chaos Androids.
No, not as separately from Chaos Androids. Chaos Androids were technically they were technically Space Crusade, then Epic. They were never actually in the actual first edition tabletop game, from what I can recall. And in second edition,
Right.
you didn't have Chaos Androids. They introduced Necrons at the tail end of second edition. Like, they had models, they had rules in White Dwarf, but you didn't have a codex for them. You wouldn't get an actual codex for them until third edition. And that's where they basically gave most of their lore, because second edition Necron lore was just like, these are mysterious alien invaders, we don't know what happens to them, we don't know where they came from, they just appeared.
I mean, to be fair, the third edition book was, these are mysterious alien invaders, we don't know where they came from, but we've also heard of these things called the Catan that go along with them, so let's put the two together. They didn't really give much away in the third ed book either.
Because the closest we got to anything in regards to the Catan in second edition was in regards to the Kalidas Assassin, just because they had the Catan Phase Blade.
Yeah, they did.
And also Cypher, because he had a Catan Phase Knife.
Oh, fuck yeah, that's right.
Well, now he carries the Lion Sword.
Oh, fuck yeah, that's
Yeah, that is in second as well.
Does he still have that?
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, the modern Cypher model still has the Lion's broken sword on his back.
No, I mean the face knife.
I don't know if he still has the Phase Knife.
I don't think he does. Top of my head.
He had it in second edition because the rules for him were found in the Chaos Codex.
Oh, shit. Okay. Oh, fuck. Okay. Alright. Oh, I see. I need to remember.
Apparently it was mentioned in his data slow that he does have the Phase Knife.
When was that released? Like 2017?
I think it was a bit earlier than that. I think it was like 6th or 7th edition. Data slow. 2013. 2013, sorry. Apparently.
Has been seen carrying a katana.
Oh no! Apparently he lost it when fighting the Deceiver, so that means he hasn't got it anymore because it probably just got reabsorbed into the Deceiver.
When?
Apparently, when this data slate mentions it, Cypher has been seen carrying a Catan Phase Knife as a weapon similar to the Catan Phase Sword used by Kalidas assassins. The knife was at some point lost in battle with the Catan known as the Deceiver in the opening stages of the 13th Black Crusade.
Please define the opening stages.
Probably
before the fall of Cadia.
Opening stage is probably more closer to like when the Iron Hands launched an assault upon Medusa. So that was 13th Black Crusade as well.
Sorry, I'm getting like all fucked up because this might be a bit important to TTS plot.
Hang on, let me see if I can.
Oh yes, because Cypher is in TTS, isn't he?
Yeah, and the Deceiver is too. So
I have the data slate, I think, as well. So let me just check one moment.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to mention this in like a production chat because this might.
Okay, I have the data slate up. Let me just Control F for Catan. Right.
Kitty.
Okay, so M36. Right. Okay, I'll just copy and paste the info because there's too much to read out loud. I can't be bothered. There you go. There you go. It phases back to being in his cloak, apparently.
Yeah. However, the battle occurred in the warp and seems to have been subject to a strange loop in either the time continuum or reality. Cypher is most often seen without the blade, but true to its name, it occasionally phases back into being beneath his cloak. Puns!
Haha! Can we just talk about the fact that he was fighting the Deceiver in the warp?
Oh yeah. Wait, really?
Oh good.
Tell me
more
about
confusing Catan nonsense.
Tell me about that, please.
It's on screen. Alpha, it's on screen. It says on screen.
Hold on. What screen?
The fucking server screen.
Sorry, I was in a completely different chat.
Under the picture of the fish.
Is it this text?
Yes.
Will I read it?
The blade out of time. Read it out. Go on. Read it out.
Although impossible to fix in time, this seems to be the first recorded instance where Cypher is seen carrying the Vice knife, a weapon similar to the Phase sword used by the Kalidas assassin. The blade of the knife can phase in and out of real space by dimensional realignment. capable of bypassing armor and protected fields. The knife was at some point lost in battle with the Catan known as the Deceiver in the opening stages of the 13th Record Save. However, the battle occurred in the warp.
The Catan fighting in the warp, apparently.
Loop in either the time continuum or reality itself. Okay, so the Deceiver was in the warp then. That's great. That's super good. Thank you, Gamers Workshop. You have helped me out with another lore fuck up.
You need to thank James Workshop for this one specifically.
You need to find James Workshop and shake his hand for all of the fuck ups he does that help me vindicate my own mistakes.
I feel like you could just have like TTS Emperor doing everything wrong with the Catan and just explaining every single plot hole that there has been in the Catan's entire existence and get 20 minutes out of it.
And then he summons James Workshop into the throne room and shakes his hand. So that's great. I am going to take that text and copy it into another chat for further
dissection.
Yes, thank you. That's a lot better of a word.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so this is the stuff sometimes, folks, that you don't always see when we come across information. We just start pinging it around. You just heard the verbalized version of what that looks like.
Tactica, look at the plus sign. Means you're going to be credited in an episode of TTS as a consultant.
Yeah, I can do that. Thank
Rem
you.
found the quote. Rem pasted the quote. You read the quote. Where the hell do I get credit in any of this?
You were here. You helped by being present.
You were consultant by association. There you go.
Oh dear. Right. Any more on questions?
Yeah, hang on one second.
Sure thing.
Between Dawn of War 3 and Fire Warrior, which one would you erase forever? Dawn of War 3, easily.
For Dawn of War 3 or what? Sorry.
Fire Warrior.
Fire Warrior.
Well, not Fire Warrior.
Fire Warrior was great.
Absolutely not Fire Warrior. Like, okay, maybe it's not a good game, but
it gave us Tau Doom Guy. It gave us Okais, Tau Doom Guy.
Yeah, exactly. So, no to deleting Fire Warrior, but yeah. So Dawn of War 3 is very disappointing. The Imperial Knight was cool. And that's it.
What about Gorguts' stretchy arm?
I mean, that's like fine, I think. It's like, yeah, if they had put that in a good game, that would have been fine. The issue is that the rest of it is so meh that it doesn't really justify it.
I don't know why.
Honestly, though, I still feel like the biggest quote-unquote controversy in that entire thing was just not being able to get Paul Dobson for Gabriel. Or fucking Keith for Diomedes.
Or just, not being a good game in general.
Yeah, yes, but I feel like at least I would have watched the cutscenes if the characters had their, in my opinion, proper voices. I mean, sure, Dawn of War 2 also did this thing where they changed the voice of certain characters for, like, no reason. Like, changing the voice of Eliphas to Steve Bloom when they had Paul Dobson as Gabriel makes no sense.
No.
But, I feel like there is something, I don't know, I just have a harder time accepting the thing they did in Dawn of War 3 where pretty much no one got recast.
That's fair. Right. You've read Honor Bound, haven't you?
Honor Bound.
The Severina Rain novel.
Yes. God, sorry. Yes, I have.
Right. The Antari rifles have Tempestus signs permanently attached to their regiments. Is this can you confirm that?
Yes. Right. As far as I recall, yes, they do. Okay. Or certainly there's a group of stormtroopers who they know personally.
Right.
And so that would require serving together multiple times.
Is this a common thing with guard regiments?
I've never heard of it before, because bear in mind that Tempestus Scions are typically indoctrinated murder bots these days. Or they used to be the Glory Boys with the Stormtroopers. Then they became indoctrinated murder bots with the Militarum Tempestus. So it's not particularly common. A commissar may establish a working relationship because they both come out of the Schola Progenium, and they may know or regularly work with a certain Scion regiment, but I doubt that there is a particular relationship between Guard and Scion regiments on the regular anyway.
Fair enough. Speaking of Tempestus Scions, though, I'm just remembering that one scene from Redemption Corps where you had that one Tempestus Scion beat up 3 Sisters of Battle with a chair.
Oh, that's definitely some Vince Russo booking.
Also, there was also the story that had a Sister of Battle die from being squashed by a fat priest.
Ugh.
Bear in mind, he was 600 pounds.
Hate it. Loathe it.
600 pounds, slammed into the Sister of Battle against the wall, and the force of his flab and muscle basically caused her neck to snap.
Fuck's sake.
Yeah, imagine being a Sister of Battle. You think you're going to go out in a blaze of glory, literally, like you're probably on fire or something, fighting the enemies of mankind, and you die by being squashed by a fat bastard.
Suffer that moment.
Not just any fat person, a priest of the Emperor, no less.
Yeah. Basically, it was Kingpin from Spider-Man, but with a Pope hat on.
Eternal pain.
Yes.
Quite so. Where are we? 1 hour 52.
All right, time for one more then.
Oh, absolutely. If there's a good one going.
Okay. Right. Okay. We'll end on a question for you then, Tack. What's your opinion on the Seraphon?
That, by the way, is the new name for the Lizardmen. For those who don't know, the Seraphon are the Lizardmen, and I don't really care.
Oof.
They're fine. Like, they were interesting when they were first previewed and released, because they were the first star demons, good guy demons, because they've got the celestial keyword, they're good guy demons. And that was interesting, and the fact that some of them have gone back to being like Lizardmen, and some of them still live on the starship type things from the end times. That's cool, I guess, where you've got the Coalesced versus the Starborn. But the Lizardmen were never an army that really interested me. The Slann were fine. The Saurus were fine. The Skinks were there. Even the Carnosaur and Stegodon were just nice models. They never really did it for me in general. So they're not an army I particularly am fussed about, and they're not an army I'm going to collect. But I know that there are a lot of people who do like them, because they've either got Lizardmen nostalgia, or they like the new lore in one way, shape, or form. And they have the potential to have the most wicked, stupid, powerful list in the game at one point, because salamander hunting packs were the nuts.
Oh, yeah.
So
I remember when they were first released as well, salamanders.
Are they pretty old?
I think it's still the same models.
No. The original Lizardmen Salamanders, they were basically just big Dimetrodon.
Oh yeah.
Hang on. Yeah, because they had the really massive sail on their back, so basically they were just Dimetrodons. Not because you got the new ones with kind of had the little dinky sail on their ass, but these ones had massive ones that had the 3 skink handlers as well. Here you go. This is what I mean. These were the original.
Oh, blimey.
Yeah. you should see the original Stegodon. Because, you know how the current Stegodon is basically just a fat Triceratops?
Yeah.
Yeah. The original was a lot more streamlined. It was a lot thinner. It didn't look so fat.
Well, bear in mind, obviously, that the original Stegodon will have been metal and the modern Stegodon is plastic. So,
Oh yeah, I remember that one. That one was.
but
super
that
cool.
is a really nice model. Swap out the Howdar, and I actually really quite like that.
Honestly, I always really like the look of the Slan, especially Lord Croak.
I mean,
Super neat.
skeleton frog in a death mask on a floating chair. What's not to like?
I know, I love it.
Yeah, shame the original Pterodons looked kind of derpy though.
I mean, to be fair, a lot of old Games Workshop models looked kind of derpy. It was the limitations of the period. Sure, there were a few that held up, but most of them didn't.
Yeah, this is true. I'm gonna look at that Pterodon now. Oh, would you look
Oh,
at
good
that?
grief.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the old gargoyles, which were like
Oh
the
yes.
worst models to put together.
No, the worst model to put together was the metal Bloodthirster from like 2nd edition 40k.
Because it had wings.
The massive, stupidly heavy metal wings on top of a metal body with like a very, very, very small connector point.
Hold on, let me look. Is that the one I'm thinking of?
So you had to like you had no choice but
Is
to
it
use a
this
drill
one
and
you're
pin
talking
for it.
about? Sorry for no.
Message text. No, it's not.
This one in particular, this one has old metal giant wings.
Kind of, but the one I was thinking of had like a different head and whip design.
Okay.
It was like a version even older than that one.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that if you were talking about this one, I had that one, or at least parts of it, because I applied those wings back in like 2009 to a hive tyrant to make a flying hive tyrant.
It was this one.
Oh wow! Would you look at that? That one looks pretty cool.
The one with the dreadlocks.
Oh, I'm going to have to edit all these onto screen because the viewers have just spent the last 5 minutes listening to us talking about nothing. So I'm going to have to edit these onto screen now, aren't I? Yep, there we go. That's the job.
Just blame
Luckily,
it all on
it's now Christmas holiday, so I've got a bit more time to do a good edit. So the viewers will actually not have to say, but can you show us all the things you're talking about? Because I can actually spend some time editing this episode because I've got time off.
Yay!
You just have to remember it.
And on that,
Yes, I'm going to have to remember this. So viewers, if you haven't had models on the screen for the past 5 minutes, go yell at me and tell me to go and redo it, and I'll probably end up
just
with it.
just blame it all on Hercules Dragonblade. It's his fault somehow.
I feel like there's a running joke here that I'm missing.
Are you not aware of Hercules Dragonblade?
I know who Hercules is, but I don't know why you keep bringing it up.
Because that's the joke.
Have you followed him on Twitter.com?
No.
Then you should.
I'll take it under advisement. And on that bombshell, we arrive at the end of episode 112 of Adeptus Podcastus. Thank you very much to Alfabusa for joining us. It has been a pleasure as always, even though we didn't actually talk about TTS, like, at all.
I mean, that's usually the case. I don't ever bring it up unless prompted.
Yeah, nor did we
had a
talk
lot
about
of
your little... We didn't talk about your little Stellaris thing either.
Oh yeah, no, it's probably going to be released by the time of the release of this podcast anyway. So if you want to, if you like Stellaris and you for some reason like really weird 40k fan fiction,
AKA you're watching this video.
yes, you can watch that video because we put a lot of effort into it, and it's something that's actually. Basically, I got into contact with the community ambassador from Paradox Studios, who makes Stellaris and a host of other neat games. And this was Frederick Knudsen, who has been your podcast guest previously, if I recall.
Oh, Frederick.
Yeah, he is very, very nice. He got me in contact with him, and he was like, please, we basically came to the conclusion that I wanted to make a Stellaris video, and they wanted me to make a Stellaris video. And thus, this project was born. And I am very, very happy to have made it, because it was a lot of fun to do. Very, very unique experience. And yeah, it was a privilege to work on, honestly, because actually getting like help from the very studio who makes that game to make this is super cool. I think so. That was like a really, really big thing for me, honestly. So if you're interested, please watch it. Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Well, in that case, with the promo done and everybody now off to watch that video, I think it's a good time to call a close. We will see you in the new year because we will not be recording now until New Year's Day. So I hope that whatever you are doing over the next couple of weeks, if you celebrate Christmas, you have a fantastic time, and that 2021 is in some way or another an improvement over 2020, because gods, we can't have another one like that.
Yeah.
And you've jinxed it.
I know I've jinxed it, but hey, you've got to try.
Tactica
So
Imperialis has ruined 2021. Confirmed. You can come back at the end of 2021.
I mean, we've still got a certain pandemic on, and we've got Brexit coming.
Damn you,
so
Steve Carino.
let that say everything it needs to. Anyway, before I say something I shouldn't, thank you very much for watching. This has been Tactica Imperialis.
This has been Remleiz from 4K Theories, and hopefully I'll be able to sleep.
And this has been Alfabusa.
And we will see you all next year. Thank you very much, everybody.
Good night.
And goodbye.